So you want to buy a house and you have no idea where to look, who to ask, what to do. Well, stick around. I'm going to walk you through the process. I'm Tammy Rasmussen from Team Unique at Keller Williams Realty in York Region. And whether it's your first house or your fifth house, it can be overwhelming. If you are a first-time home buyer or haven't purchased one in a while, it can be a bit overwhelming and scary. After all, it's a big commitment. And if you don't have any idea where to start or what to do, as I said, I'm going to walk you through the process in a series of videos. I know you may think that the very first step of buying a house is to go look at them, but it's not. I want to slow you down. I want you to be prepared. The last thing that you want to do is to be disappointed by seeing a house that you love and you are not in a position to buy it. Have all your ducks in a row. So let's get your ducks in a row, and because there's nothing worse. You don't want to be looking at a house that is more expensive than what you can afford and qualify for. It will have different features and benefits that a home in the price range that you should be looking at doesn't, and that can be disappointing. The first step is to get pre-approved, and I don't mean by going to a website that asks you a few simple questions about your earnings and your debts. That won't be detailed enough, and it really isn't a pre-qualification at all. You need to get knee-to-knee, toe-to-toe with a mortgage person. And whether it's a bank manager or a mortgage broker, you need someone qualified to ask you the right questions, to know the right formulas, and the current rules for qualifying for a mortgage in today's market. That person will be able to break down all the costs to acquire that mortgage and the fees involved. Also, they can lock in that interest rate for 90 days, which is great if the Bank of Canada increases their prime lending rate while you are getting everything ready. They are going to ask you to bring in some documents, your T4 slip, your notice of assessment from Revenue Canada. You will also need current pay stubs and possibly a letter of employment, certainly a list of investments that you currently have, and are you going to be cashing in some of those investments to help out with the purchase? Also, have an idea of current debts you are carrying. Another thing you don't want to do is change jobs. You do need to have a track record of employment for the lender to feel comfortable lending you the money. Do you have too much credit card debt? You may need to pay it down. Or maybe you don't even carry a balance, but you have access to too much credit card. And you may need to close a couple of those credit cards. You may have nothing on them, but the lenders don't want you to have access to too much credit when they approve you for a mortgage. One thing to consider is also, have you co-signed on a loan? Have you helped a family member or a child purchase something and co-signed for that loan? Because that will affect what you qualify for. When the lender pulls up a credit report, it will show up as your debt, and it may affect what you qualify for. Now let's talk about your deposit. Is it locked into RSPs, GICs, stocks? And will it take time to liquidate? Are there penalties involved to get access to your money? Once you find a house you want to purchase, you will need to come up with the deposit quickly, which is immediately or in under 24 hours. So the deposit is not the same as the down payment. The deposit is an amount of money that you have agreed with the seller to submit once the offer is accepted as a signed commitment to purchase their home. As a side note, you are signing under seal, and so technically a deposit is not necessary to enforce the contract of purchase, and you can even be sued if you didn't submit the deposit for not closing, if you have an accepted agreement of purchase and sale. And in the GTA, the deposit can be anywhere up to 5% of the price of the home, with a minimum at least of $5,000 to $10,000. If the money hasn't come from your own accounts, it will need to be in your account for a minimum of 3 months, or you will need to prove where it came from for the government and lender. If you are blessed enough to have someone help you with the down payment, such as a family member or parent or grandparent, you will need to have a letter from them that it is a gift and that they do not expect repayment of that money, or it could change the amount that you qualify for a mortgage. So as you can see, you really do need to get your ducks in order before you go looking at houses. Find out what you have qualified for and have the deposit easily accessible. help to eliminate any surprises in the whole process by following these steps. My next video will be on budget and location when buying a home. If you found this video helpful, click the like button. Also, I would love to hear from you. If you have any comments, write them below.